We are a big coalition, but we're a small staff, 3 people. And I would like to recognize my 2 coworkers who have done stellar work with us over the past year and also for this evening. Serena Talbot, where are you, Serena? Thank you. Serena's pretty new to First Call, and she's jumped right in, and I couldn't do without her already. And Michael McCarthy Flynn, where's Michael? There he's Michael, our Living Wage for Families organizer. Michael will share a few words with you shortly. We are forever grateful for the generous contributions of all of our coalition partners, because with such a small staff, we couldn't get what we get done without lots of people chipping in kind, their time, their ideas, their resources. So thank you to all of our coalition partners and for bringing the ideas that we need, the direction for our advocacy work to us. This is our 20th anniversary. We have grown from about 20 founding partners, I think, a long time ago, to over 90 plus partners, partner organization now. And our work over those last 20 years has been to gather that evidence that so many of you produce or bring in from the experience of your frontline service work. What is the evidence about what children need? To share it then with the broader population, to make people know, to help people know what children and youth need to grow up healthy and strong in this province, to analyze the trends, the policy trends affecting children and youth, mobilize people around that information, and hopefully affect public policy. And we propose policy solutions. We hold monthly coalition meetings every month of the year, practically except for summer. And those are places for dialogue with decision makers, sometimes politicians, sometimes civil servants, sometimes with dialogue among ourselves so that we can build that kind of unity that when we know our own issues sometimes but don't know other people's issues. So how do we build that unity for children's voice and children's rights? So we use those meetings for those purposes as well. Our annual project to produce a child poverty report card and do year-round public work or media work and stuff around the issue of child poverty is probably what we're sometimes best known for. It remains a central part of our work because we haven't eliminated child poverty in this province yet, so we're still working on it. I would like to recognize Steve Kerstetter and Spark BC for their stellar work each year in helping us create that report card. And we do think that our relentless work on this issue has helped move the dial a little bit in the public discourse on the issue of child and family poverty. It used to be we were criticized or critiqued for the numbers. No, we don't believe your numbers and that kind of thing. But we have moved it a bit so that now at least there's an acknowledgement, and the conversation is more about what can we do about it. We may not always agree with government or others about what can and should be done, but at least we're talking about that now rather than arguing over the numbers. One of the solutions to child poverty that became apparent as we noticed that most poor children in the province live with parents who are working in the paid labor force is living wages, that people should be able to be paid living wages in order to raise their families in a healthy way, and Michael will be saying a few words about that shortly. Not quite yet. I wanted to mention the work of our Early Childhood Development Roundtable, which is another table that meets regularly. Because we are currently we put together a policy framework for action around early childhood that we've offered to government and will continue to do so. We're in the process right now of renewing the consensus around that document and refreshing it. And I wanted to mention that Dawn Steele is here, and she's over, I think, way over there on the far table. So if you're interested in working on that or having some input into that process, talk to Dawn, and she's got a little sign-up sheet over there because we want to, again, build that really strong consensus around the policy recommendations we're making and make sure everybody sees themselves in that policy framework. We last year endorsed the $10 a day child care plan because we do have a crisis facing families around childcare continually in this province, so that's something that's urgent. We're about to publish another research report, this time on employment standards for children. You may realize they dropped the work start age in BC to 12, and that's had serious consequences. We've just completed some focus groups and some interviews with young people. We'll be publishing that research shortly, and again, a policy framework will follow to try and influence government to improve child protections for children in the workforce. And we're also able to participate this past year in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. We were reviewed, Canada was reviewed by the UN Committee, and we were able to participate with some of our other partners like the Society for Children and Youth of BC and the Canadian Coalition for the Rights of Children to try and raise some awareness around that review and how Canada is or is not in compliance with our commitments under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. As part of our Safe and Caring Communities agenda, we've begun working on the issue of environmental toxins and their impacts on children's health. And I want to credit May Burrows here for some of her pioneering work in that area and for bringing it to our attention. We hosted a public forum last year with Dr. Bruce Lanphier from SFU and UBC to help raise awareness about some of the issues. It's a tough issue for parents, it's a scary issue for parents, but we need to start addressing, again, the public awareness and the policy regime behind that would try and keep our children safer from environmental toxins. So one of the actions we're looking at is supporting is a cosmetic pesticide ban in BC, and we hope to see that after the next election. So these are just some of the issues. I won't go into others, but those are some of the issues that we and our partners are all working on continually. Again, this past year, we've been supported in our campaigns and our projects by the financial support from the United Way of the Lower Mainland, from the Vancouver Foundation, the Law Foundation for our child labor work, Van City, and as well as the generous in-kind and financial support from many of our partner coalitions, our partners in the coalition. So again, thank you for that support to those organizations and our partners. It's an election year. And so we will do an election kit, as many of you are also working on. We're trying to work closely with a lot of you around the issue of to get children and youth issues on this provincial election, to make sure that they're central and that the parties know what our demands are, what our recommendations are, and that this is a priority for voters. So any work you can do to help us to amplify that message, we look forward to doing that with you, because we want them to know that all our children deserve first call on our collective resources as promised in that UN convention. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here, for being there for children. I hope that you enjoy yourselves tonight and that you leave here energized and inspired to make BC a better place to raise healthy and happy children. Thanks so much for coming.